everybody on
episode.
set should just come into frame really quick, and we just go, woo! Would that be fun?
That's cute.
Can we do that?
Hey, welcome to the
Gabby.
Field Guide for Marriage
Yeah,
podcast. Brought to you by 24/7 Marriage. And guess what today is on this podcast? Today is the 200th episode of our podcast. I'm not kissing you because you have lipstick on. I don't like lipstick on my lips. I know, that's been my thing. 200 episodes of me sitting here next to my beautiful bride. Who I am better. I am the man who I am because of this woman. And we are blessed that you have been on this journey with us, that you have walked with us, that you have stayed with us. That's the crazy part about it.
I'm gonna start with a quote.
Okay.
From from one of our favorite movies, Jerry Maguire. But sitting next to you, not just in a podcast, but sitting next to you in the car of marriage, you make me want to be a better person.
Oh. And here's my quote from Jerry Maguire. Show me the money. That's all I got.
We're in full-time ministry, so that's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. And what's exciting about our 200th episode is we have some of the most amazing guests again for part 2 that they agreed to come back. I don't know why, but they agreed to sit here with us again and tell a little bit more about their story and have a great conversation. So we're going to welcome back to our podcast from the Good Love Co. podcast, Paulina and Josh.
As I like to call him, Matt. Just joking.
Thanks for having. Congrats, you guys.
Congrats,
That's a huge
honestly.
milestone.
Like
We're honored
you
to
made
be
it to
here.
the 200. Like
We're honored to be a part of this. This is
Yeah.
incredible.
preordained.
Thank you.
Like this was meant to happen.
No, shout out to
So-
you guys. We're on episode 13, and we're like,
Hey.
okay, like this is
Yeah,
so
13.
200 is a huge deal.
It's been
so
fun.
Congrats to
Listen,
you guys.
we've done a
seriously.
lot of these traveling the country in the marriage lab, like mobile,
So cool.
producing
Oh
a
my
podcast, and it
gosh.
hasn't always been great.
Yes.
So we're thankful and grateful for what God has done. And it, again, like you guys are experiencing, it's not us, right? It is God, but it's also because there's people who are leaning in and connecting. And that's why we love what we get to do.
Yeah.
Because we literally get to sit and we're like at times blown away. Oh, we get to do this.
Yeah.
But it's not always easy either. Like we have a good friend, Victor Marks, who says, and he works with marriages. He says, I would rather fight ISIS than work with a couple.
Yeah.
He goes, that'd be much
And
easier.
he was dead serious.
Yeah, because he's done it.
And he was so serious.
He was so serious about
Yeah.
it. Because it's not always the easiest of works,
Yeah.
but it's beautiful, it's rewarding.
Yeah.
Because I think on the last podcast you mentioned the generational impact, right?
Yeah.
Our marriage has a generational
Generational
impact. It is not just us, that's right. And a good legacy is intentional.
Yes.
It doesn't just happen.
Right.
And so I'm glad you guys agreed to come back and jump in. We heard a little bit about your story.
Yeah.
You know, the quirks, the things you like about each other, the things you annoy you about each
Yeah.
other. So if you guys didn't get a chance to listen to the podcast, go back
Listen
and
to
lean
it,
into that podcast.
Because we have some juicy questions for you.
You
this
have
round.
juicy questions?
Well,
Ooh.
just like things that I really want to know and that you guys can speak to, because this is your generation. This is this generation is so different. The older I get, the farther I feel detached from like knowing things and
Yeah.
like being able to identify with a certain people group. I'm like, oh gosh, we're that old
We talked
now.
about that.
Like,
so
oh.
on the plane ride, Shan sat next to an older lady. She was 84, and she was helping her on her phone get it in plane mode and trying to figure it all out because she didn't know what to do.
Because she thought she had to turn her phone off completely. She's like, so do I just need to sit here? I was like, oh no. I go, do you have a game you could play? She's like, well, I have a word game I could play. Am I allowed to play it? And I was like, sure, you can play it. So I was just trying to help her the whole trip.
And then, so at dinner, I told her, I go, you recognize, like, we have a grandson, and when he's like 15, 16, we're not going to understand what he's doing with the phone or whatever it is they have. And he's going to be helping us.
No
matter as much as we try to keep up on things, he's going to be helping
true.
us.
Yeah.
So where you guys are at, you get to help others, especially in the stage and season of life that you are in.
Yeah.
So we want to hear from you. I want to dive into some marriage questions. So I want to hear from you guys. Like, what are you seeing in your generation when it comes to regards to marriage and family? Like, what are you seeing, especially as you're sitting having conversations?
How are they viewing it? What are their
Yeah.
perceptions of it? Where what are they leaning more into it? Are they staying single longer? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, that's such
What's
a great
going on
question.
with your group?
And if you're not watching this, they are significantly younger than us. So
Just a little.
just a little.
A little bit.
So that's, compared to prior generations, Gen Z, for example, is waiting much longer to get married. I think that there's a beauty to that because there's a reverence and a understanding of what it takes to get married. But with that said, then we're kind of, waiting maybe a little too long oftentimes, creating a whole life separate from somebody else. It's just something that a trend that we're seeing quite a bit.
You said beauty. And I don't know if I've heard it described that way of people waiting that long in preparation to be ready. Because I feel I've seen a trend of people like afraid. Like they're waiting because they're unsure and they haven't seen good examples of it. Like, do you see that also?
Yeah.
I like that you said that because I think there's truth to that for sure. But there's the other side of it too.
Of course, I think there's an avoidance of pain because I saw it go this way. But why I say beauty is because I think that there is a reverence. There's an understanding where in past generations, it was just like, yeah, we're going to have sleepovers together forever. and then you get into it and it's just like terrible. Like for me, I read Sacred Marriage by Gary
Yes.
Thomas. That was one of the books that we read before getting married. So I got into it geared up. This is
Yeah.
going to be hard. This is going to be,
You were
and then it
ready.
was like, wait, there are actually flowers and butterflies. This is beautiful too. So I mean that I think that Gen Z is too much on that side of understanding the seriousness, the commitment that goes into it. And so they're being way more cautious jumping into it. And part of it is probably some fear as well.
Would you
Yeah.
say that your generation, they have metaphorically a back door on marriage? Like they're like, if this doesn't work, like I'm out. Like I actually had a mom of a bride to be say to me, I said, do you like who your daughter's getting ready to marry? I was just making small talk. She's like, yeah, I think he's going to make a great first husband. And I think my jaw hit the ground. I was like, did I just hear what she said correctly? Because it stunned me. Because what you're saying in essence is that you're wishing for your daughter to go through divorce, to go through heartache, to go through a really hard season and not press through and stick it out to make it work. Like this would make a great first husband. I was like, oh my gosh, like,
Wow.
does your generation see marriage as disposable?
That's a great question. I'm a Gen Z girly to my core. So I would argue that that's not the case. I mean, I'm sure that some people would say it that way, but I would say more in the 80s and 90s where feminism was very much like girl boss and then like all the boys were forgotten.
Yeah.
I think we have societally made a little bit more of a shift and recognized that that's not okay either, that men matter and that boys matter.
Yeah.
Which has been surprising, right? It was expected that Gen Z, that we'd grow up with like all these ideologies and that we would be away. And yet Gen Z are the people that save the most. We're getting educated, again, waiting a little bit longer to get married, but going into it with a better understanding of the commitment that we're walking into. So that's not kind of what I've experienced, especially like in my friend groups and even with clients that I'm seeing. I'm seeing Gen Z going to marriage therapy earlier on before these cycles are super entrenched. They're really investing in, but I may be biased because,
She's Gen Z.
Yeah.
I am Gen
I'm
Z.
more
so-
on the millennial side. And she's like, she's on like the tail end of
Yes,
the
I'm
Gen
a
Z.
zillennial is what
She's
they
a
call it.
zillennial.
Yes,
The
because I'm right in the
transition
middle.
period, and I'm more on the millennial side. I guess from what I see is just like you just see a lot of social media usage, and with a lot of social media usage, you see options, and you see like they're killing it over here, and they're killing it over here. I'm not killing it right now in my career. It could be that person that's not boosting me up to be able to do that. So I need somebody else who's actually going to help me become what I want to become.
Okay.
And I think that that's where a lot of, at least from my experience, I've seen people kind of get disenfranchised and get annoyed with their partner, not realizing that that person was specifically designed for you to be able to reach that. You just have to figure out how to communicate and how to work together to reach those goals.
Yeah.
That's good.
And we're Gen X. We drank out of hoses. We stayed out till the street lights came on. We raised ourselves.
Yeah.
And what's unique about us is we both came from homes where mom stayed at home.
Okay.
So, which is very different from your generation.
Yeah.
We have dual income houses,
Yep.
and a lot of a bigger percentage of kids being raised in single parent homes. So, our family of origins are very different.
So true.
So how we view marriage, how we see marriage is very different. But I call it we're the best generation. Sorry, we just are.
That's very Gen X of you to say.
We can try to wrestle for it later and see who wins out.
I like Gen
No,
X.
every
Gen X
generation
is
brings
cool.
something different, but I think Joshua, what you said was important in the sense that they're looking for someone like to help me fulfill this. Healthy, not healthy.
I think it's completely unhealthy, right? In the
Okay.
past, I think that what has happened in the past is that there was an expectation that everybody would get married. It
Yeah.
just went without saying.
Yeah.
Just like there have been times in society where everyone goes to church. It just goes without saying. Now, in my generation, everything is optional. In fact, the whole world can literally shut down from one day to the next, right? So there just isn't a secure base for a lot of people in their belief system, in how they want to go about the future, because like, does it even matter? I mean, everything can just change
Yeah.
with something like COVID happening
That's
again, right?
very interesting.
So I think that it has bred a lot of anxiety, and something that is being coined relationship anxiety now that we're seeing in the younger generation. And there's just a lot of insecurity going into anything. Even when we talk about it psychologically, and you were saying we drank out of hoses, we did
Yeah.
this. There's a book called The Anxious Generation, and
Yes.
it talks about that.
Yes.
It talks about the fact that because it was just like, be careful, honey. It's
Yeah.
right. So there's
Yeah.
just not enough confidence to go into any room to make any mistakes. And of course, that's going to happen in relationships. So
Yeah. Yeah.
there is this, let me sit back and let me just wait. And one day I'm going to get to this perfect version of me that has my 5 a.m. workout routine and that has it all figured out. And at that point, I'll go ahead and make these commitments and decisions.
Yeah.
And yet we're never really going to reach this
Never arrive
perfect
there.
higher self.
Correct.
Yeah.
And you said it so much of with social media, with these digital pacifiers that we hold in our hands.
Absolutely.
Of what the false narrative and story that it is actually telling, right? This generation, even other generations now, is this is what you can get. Like, this is what it looks like.
Right.
We never see, how many people do you see posting the ugly and the bad?
You don't.
Right, they post the fig leaf that they're hiding behind, right? All that is what you see. How much do you see that contributing, especially like as you're sitting with couples as well, or even the youngers who aren't married? Like,
Yeah.
how's that contributing to it?
Oh, it's leading to these unrealistic expectations. And part of what we do in the Good Love Co podcast, but part of what I do just as a therapist is like, hey, that's not real life.
Yeah.
Everyone isn't always at their most beautiful, radiant selves every day. And that's
Well,
what's
I wake
beautiful.
up like this.
I just,
This is it. This is
yeah,
I
me
mean,
too.
this beauty does not fade.
This
even
is
that.
not a true story.
And so I think that that's the main thing. It leads to unrealistic expectations and then to so much condemnation. Because look, this person is my age and look at everything that they've accomplished and
Yeah.
look at me. Like something is so terribly wrong with me, when in actuality, yeah, they're succeeding maybe in that one area, but God is calling you into a completely different area to focus in on, because your journeys are different.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's some of the trouble.
For our generation, I'm able.
We're like your generation, my generation.
No, I'm gonna build a bridge to us. I'm gonna build a bridge.
This is the moment.
I feel that I can objectively look at social media and be like, fun, good times, not real.
Yeah.
I feel that your generation feels like this is real life. And if there's anything that, as the older generation speaks to that younger generation, is trying to help them see that that's not. So the 30-second reel that you made of the yacht that you were on this weekend, and you were in the Hamptons and you had this great dinner, and it's like, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, I want to live Paulina's life. It's like, that's not really her life. You rented the yacht, and it's like all the things that people do to make a 30-second highlight reel isn't real life. And that's where the older you get, you have more perspective, and you're like, I can see that the things that I see, it's like you can look at it and be like, that's not real. But for your generation, this is everyday life. They've grown up with this thing in their hand, that this is how they stay connected. They would say that these are their real friends. These are their people. This is their people group. And for our generation, that's so the opposite, because we didn't have social media until, just
ages now, Shannon.
Yeah. And I think our youngest was 5 or 6 years old when I think we got a flip phone.
I had a pager. Okay. Like I had a pager in high school. Like I had to be like, excuse me, I got a page. Let me go find a cell phone.
Gotta go find a payphone.
Gotta go find a payphone.
Do I got 20 cents? Money on you.
What are one of those? I
Yeah.
don't even know what that is.
Do you know what a payphone is?
I do.
And you were, Paulina, you were talking about this anxious generation. Do you believe that the amount and time that your generation is spending on social media and technology is a contributing factor to that?
Of course, yes. Because, I mean, we didn't know, and I think parents are making adjustments now, but we didn't know how much dopamine was being affected with the use of social media, right?
Yeah.
Parents didn't know enough to limit
There you
and
go.
manage the use while our
Yes.
brains were still developing. So I think that contributes part of it. With that said, the interesting thing about, because the other part of that is Gen Z is coping with things differently than other generations have, right? So Gen Z drinks alcohol less than all prior generations.
What are you saying
before
about
us.
our generation? No, I'm just joking.
No, all of them.
Yeah.
So I think that on the one hand, yes, there's definitely like more anxiety, more awareness. One of the books that I'm reading right now is called Crazy Like Us. And it talks about how oftentimes too, maybe you didn't have a problem. You had one symptom of anxiety, like getting nervous, which is normal. It's a physiological response.
Yeah.
But now we're all labeling ourselves. I have chronic anxiety. I have OCD. And we're taking that on as an identity.
Yes.
And my hope is that besides learning to manage our social media usage a little bit better, is that we would stop taking on all these labels and things, because again,
Come on, girl.
having one symptom doesn't make you autistic, but everyone nowadays
Yeah.
is like
Yeah.
on the spectrum, or,
Yeah.
which is just being neurodivergent. But again, it's taking on things that don't belong to you, and that we would again recognize. And I think that we need God for this. I
Yes.
really think
Yep,
that
absolutely.
we need God
Yes.
in this generation to be able to, because so many things that went without saying in the past, we don't have. We don't have those things to stand on, unfortunately. And so we have to really find God in a way that is different, perhaps, to move forward and to really just be happy. Because again, the way that our dopamine has been depleted from such a young age, the way that there just isn't a sure ground in society, like things just are so wild and so crazy. We really do need God. And I would personally say, I think marriage, when it is healthy, is also such a secure and good base to go and explore the world from.
Absolutely.
And we learned that from attachment science, right?
Yeah.
We thought that tantrums that kids throw as babies, that it ends there. Like you grow up and you grow out of it.
Yeah.
But really, we all have, as we grow up, this primary attachment figure. Typically ends up being our spouse, right? And we end up having those same tantrums. They just look different. They look like arguments. They look like manipulation. They look like shutting down on one another.
Yeah.
But on the other side of that, when you have a healthy parent that says, hey, honey, you're safe with me. It's okay. You can go and explore. That same thing happens within marriage is, oh, you like me and you love me. So I'm safe to go out into the world and to take risks and do these things.
Yeah.
I love
I
that.
love
So the
that.
very thing that Gen Z is avoiding is like something that would really allow you to go even further in those dreams in a way that
So
it's
what
beautiful.
would you say with all the labels in today's society that we get diagnosed from Oingo Boingo PhD, you know, that's his handle number, whatever handle name. And it's like, this person says I have this. And it's like, we carry all these labels. It feels like it stops there with them. It's like, well, I'm this, so I don't need to try, or I'm never going to be good at that, or I can't do that because of this. I feel like it almost gives them a crutch or a way out of of pressing in, of leaning into God, of like really doing the hard work. What would you say to that?
Yeah, I think that diagnoses can be helpful. There have been many times where it's just like, oh, wait, so my brain is just wired differently.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's so helpful. I've been
Yes.
trying to do things this way.
Yes.
And yet, if I tried doing it this way instead, I would be so much more successful at accomplishing these things.
Yes.
Right? That's so helpful. Now, when we take a diagnosis, like like people who believe in horoscopes take horoscopes. Like, well, I'm a Gemini, so yeah, I'm gonna switch up on the dime.
Yeah.
Like, girl,
Yeah.
no,
That's just who I am.
you have character issues, and you really need to learn
Yeah.
To follow through on
emotionally
your
regulate.
You just need to be nice to people. Stop.
So that's where it's different, and where yes, you receive this information, but the issues are still the same.
Yeah.
And so now, with understanding that maybe you do have ADHD or you do have autism,
Sure.
Yes.
let's now
Sure.
set you up for success
Yes.
to accomplish those things that God has prepared
Sure.
for you to do.
I love the way that
Absolutely.
you said that.
Yeah.
That was so important to us. So we homeschooled all the way through, but our oldest, she went to first grade for 1 year to public school, and that's where we got her diagnosed with like just like a learning disorder. And it was so like light bulb moment for our mama. And I was like, she's a kinesthetic learner. Like she doesn't, she's not going to learn sitting at a desk. We have to keep moving. And that's why we chose to homeschool, because I could do things where it's like, okay, if we're going to learn multiplication, we'll learn it doing hopscotch, jump roping. Like she had to be moving in order to learn. And that's
Wow.
where the proper diagnosis are so helpful in helping us move forward and being the best we can be. So I love the way that you said that it is, there are reasons why we have diagnosis, but where are we getting them from?
Absolutely.
And how are we implementing them and using them for our greater good still?
Yeah.
So important.
So a really quick pause on something. So as she talks, you look at her, you smile, your eyes are like, you're so like, this is my wife. Like you're so proud of her.
Do you look at me
She's
that
killing
way
it.
when I talk?
I do look at you that way when you talk.
Were you like picking your
I
nose
was
or
like,
like,
when's she gonna stop? No, I just want to make that observation. If you're not watching this, I think that's awesome because you have a deep respect for your wife. I can see that.
he
but
was
also-
saying something without saying something?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Like you're there, you're in tune with her, but you're
love
also
that.
very proud of her. Like you're just smiling. and
That's
looking
what
at
it is. I think it's like when I get to see her in her element and
Yeah,
like
you love
seeing her walking in the
Yeah.
purposes that God has for her.
I love that.
I'm just like, I light up. And I think,
Yeah.
and she would do the same for me too. And when she
Yeah.
sees me walking in my element, and
Yeah.
that's where it's like, I'm going to be her biggest cheerleader. I'm
Yes.
her biggest
I love
supporter.
that.
I'm going to be,
Yeah.
I'm the guy in the back going like, yeah, like whatever
That's my
she's
girl.
doing, like I'm there.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and I know that she does the same for me. So I just love seeing she knows her stuff. I was
Yeah.
there late nights, 3 a.m. watching her study, write her papers, do
I
all
know
this
my
stuff.
stuff too.
And I'm like,
I heard
it actually worked. Like
Yeah.
he's doing it. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love it.
But I kind of point that out also is because I think someone's calling me. Hold on one second. Let me take. No, I'm kidding. That is something where I think, and I don't know if it's with millennials, but where I see a lot of men who don't do that. Like you're not sitting there waiting, when's it my turn? Like you really honor, love her. But also I see sometimes men who they wouldn't sit there and be okay with that.
You're right.
They're like, what about me? Like she's doing that. Like,
Almost
you're-
a dismissive behavior towards their wife.
you're confident in who you are. You're
Yeah.
confident within your marriage as well. Do you see that in men right now, young men and men your age? Like, what do you see with them?
That's a really good question. No, I would agree with you. I think that guys can be very insecure in who they are, and they don't necessarily want to promote their wife because they're thinking about themselves. And they're so focused on themselves and they're
good.
so their own self-worth, their own shortcomings and
Yeah.
their own insecurities that they are too busy focusing on self that they don't realize that your partner's wins are your wins too.
Yeah. Come on.
When she's
Yeah.
killing
Come
it
on.
and when she's winning, I'm winning.
Yeah.
I'm killing it too because we're
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
And if it's like I one way that I like to approach it, it's like we're the Miller Co. We're the Miller Company, you know. And if she's succeeding, like we're all rising.
Yeah.
And it's almost like looking at the marriage as like this company that like this is what we want to succeed.
Yes,
and if it's through me at this moment, great. If it's through her at this moment, that's equally great.
Win. Yep.
And that we're here to serve one another. And it just honestly makes me so happy to see her walking in those purposes.
Yeah.
I love that analogy.
Yeah. And I think another thing is like men sometimes have a tough time understanding their identity and understanding what that's rooted in.
Yep. That's it.
And a lot of guys think that it's rooted in their job title, the money that they're making, whatever the case might be. And if I'm not at the level I think it should be, talking about social media and seeing all these incredible high value men doing all their incredible things and I'm not there, then I shrink back, I get insecure and I start feeling less than. Instead of realizing like my identity, first of all, is not even in our marriage, it's rooted in God.
Correct.
And because we're one, when she wins, I win.
Yeah.
And understanding our identity, I think, is a big deal. And especially with my generation.
Dude, that's huge. You can go on and on with that right there. Like, seriously. Like, did you just say clock it?
Literally.
That's the Gen Z clock
Clock
right there.
it. I know.
Yeah.
We're learning that clock
listen, I just learned this last week. So to my girls,
there you go. You
Dad and I are clocking it. They're going to be so excited.
That's funny.
Like, what you said is powerful because, you know, we, from a spiritual sense and, you know, and women who understand like, oh, that Proverbs 31 woman, I want to be that woman, like who, you know, speaks loudly about her husband, who praises who he is, who goes out into the city streets, who serves like, yes, like, and husbands say like, oh, I would love that woman. I would love a Proverbs 31 woman. But they don't realize there is a man that's enabled her to be who she is.
That's good.
That has given her room to be able to fulfill what God's called her to do.
Yep.
That's so good.
Who has been able to, like, he's a man of character and of integrity, diligent, who works hard, who digs in. And because of that,
And he's
she honors him.
respected.
And she wants to speak about him.
Yeah.
She wants to talk about who he is
100%.
and enables her to fully blossom into to what she is. So there's that. And that's so vital and so important. So what would you say to young guys like, hey, if you're out there, maybe you're not married yet, because we have people who listen to this aren't married, or maybe they're early on in marriage. What would you tell them about what God is asking of them within their marriage?
Ooh, come on.
That's a good question. I would say, first of all, the Bible calls us to love our wives and understanding like that I need to love her, but I also am called to die for her.
Yeah.
And to sacrifice for her. And yes, your wants, your needs are important. And those are going to be important things. And God has given you vision and purpose and all of those things. And that's amazing to have. But one of the primary things that he is entrusting to you is one of his daughters to steward that relationship and steward that life. And how you handle that will also determine how much more I think God's going to even continue to give to you in your walk. So if I'm not handling that well and I'm just complaining with God and complaining with all these things and saying, why aren't you blessing me in this? He's like, the one thing that I've given you that's more precious than anything I could probably give you in this world. You're not even respecting or handling or taking care of. And that stewardship relationship is something that you'll have to understand, especially like if you're not married yet, is that it's called dying daily. It's called sacrificing. And it's actually, you would think like, if I do that, then I'm not going to walk into everything I have because I'm dying daily. And it's it's the opposite.
Absolutely.
You're going to find so much purpose and fulfillment in doing that. And making sure your wife has a safe place, this greenhouse where she can flourish and blossom, you know? And that's how I look at it. Like you are like a gardener in a way.
Thank you.
In a greenhouse that you are trying to create the environment where your spouse can flourish. And while she's flourishing, you're going to flourish just as much. And you're going to find that much more support and care that then you can go out and explore and do more than you could ever think of.
What I hear you saying is that in serving your wife, all your needs are still getting met.
Yes, absolutely.
Because we serve a big God.
That's good.
So serving first. Right? Being a servant leader, like dying to yourself.
Yes.
And as Christ did, like, I'm here to serve.
That's right.
And I thank you for saying that. Because here we are, you're 4.5 years in, we're, on our 33rd year. And the greatest joy that I have, the two things I do every single day is to love God and to love my wife well and to serve her well. He is my only priority. And out of that, everything flows in the proper order. and she is next. Even before kids. And people push back on that. Because no, because one day they'll be gone. I told my girls, I can't wait till you're gone. I love you, but I didn't marry you.
Right.
I married her.
Yeah.
And we have a great relationship. But you're absolutely right. So thank you for saying that, because that is the first call that we would be on our knees before God, right? And that is so sexy to our wives.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Like
Yeah.
when he's on his knees before God, praying over his spouse, like that is a man worth following. All right, that is a man worth following.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
we can go on and on and on and on.
We can
we
talk
can.
about it.
Well, and it's a competition in our home to outserve one another.
Yeah.
Like we just find ways to make life better, easier, happier. How can I bring you joy? What can I do that will put a smile on your face? Like, and it's doing the things without even asking them those questions, because it's like, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and do this thing because I love him so much, and I want to serve the Son of the Most High King.
Yeah.
And I get to do that.
Yeah.
Which
Such
is
a
so
privilege.
true. And I think that sometimes growing up in the church, it's like the princess of God. And it's like, he
There's a
also
son.
is a son.
That's
like,
right.
God, yeah.
And I think that we miss that sometimes, especially when we're treating one another out of those parts of us that are hurt, and so on and so forth. And I think that's something that we have done well, thankfully, by the grace of God. But it's like, I'm never going to speak to you without the dignity that belongs to you simply because you are a creation of God.
Yes.
Like that is outside of anything that I can add or remove from his life.
Yes.
And that's the baseline.
Yeah.
And so even that ties into communication, that ties into the priority
Everything.
that we give to one another, which then again allows for that secure attachment, which is what we always
it.
want to be making deposits into.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
love that.
I mean, we
so
talked about
much.
purpose earlier, and like the purpose of marriage is God, period, to reflect and image him.
That's right.
And I think it's Jimmy Evans who said, like, the reason you should be married should be greater than anything you ever face, anything you ever encounter. And if your reason for marriage is God, that's greater than anything you'll ever face, encounter, go through, and navigate.
Yeah.
And that's the reason you're married.
So, I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Okay.
Harvard did a long-term study over with lots of couples, and what they found is that the couples that made it weren't the couples that were saying, "I want to change you." Like, there's this thing about this person, but I'm going to change it eventually. There were plenty of findings, but one of the things is it's you and I against the world.
Yes, sir.
And there's an unhealthy way where we can isolate, but it means to say it's you and I against whatever the enemy wants to throw out at us. We're covered by the blood of Jesus in this home.
That's right.
Whatever comes, like a business, an endeavor, raising children together, it's you and I, and we've got this.
Yeah.
And that mindset versus it's me against you.
Yeah.
I'm actually, which is what you were talking about,
Yeah.
where we see is like the man is competing with the wife or vice versa.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
That's us
No,
versus
that's
the
good.
world.
And we're going to be doing a podcast on that here soon. But like, yeah, you have an enemy in your marriage, and it's not your spouse.
Right.
Right. And so
That's
many
good.
have done that, and they continue to do that. Listen, you guys, we're going to wrap up. This has been incredibly, I mean, it's been so good.
We've loved having you
I kind of
guys.
feel like we're going to have you back again on another episode and have you as a reoccurring guest.
We'd love to.
Yeah.
Just
We would love that.
Like
That'd be an honor.
your wisdom, your insight. Like Josh, you surprised me. I wasn't expecting much. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. No, I love that because you both compliment each other so well.
By the
And
way,
I think-
if you've been following them along, I just want you to know in person they are just as warm and sweet and amazing and funny. So
Yeah,
keep
they're the
following
same
along.
people. They're great.
Oh, thank
No, I
you.
love it. And make sure you guys.
I love that you just you're young and you bring a perspective. And we're in unity on what we believe and what we see and what we want for a godly centered marriage. But it's great just to have that fresh perspective, especially for our audience,
Yeah.
because they hear from us old
Yeah.
people all the time. And it's like
please.
to have your voice is so
Josh was saying
important.
stuff. I'm like, bro, dude, we're on the same page. Like you're
Yeah.
saying exactly what I would
Preach.
be saying. Like I
Preach.
love that.
We
Keep
read
going
from the
with
same
it.
book.
Keep going.
Preach.
We've read the same book. We see the
Yes.
same God.
That's
we
right.
understand what's happening. We understand the battle that we're in.
That's right.
Yeah.
But if we're going to shift and change things, even within marriage, it's going to start with men. I really do believe
Yes. I
that.
agree.
100%.
Like, and people don't like that. And just there's a responsibility that falls on the man
Yes.
as God
agree.
ordained to lead. And when
Yes.
men start telling me, yeah, but you don't know, I don't care. what are you responsible for? Because it may not be your fault, but it is your responsibility.
Come
It
on.
is your responsibility.
Preach it.
End of day, period. So, we're going to have you back on again.
Fun to be on the battlefield with you guys.
We're gonna do it again.
Love it.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
absolutely. So if you don't follow the Good Love Co. podcast, please make sure you go and follow them.
We'll put them in the link in the show
We'll
notes
put them in the
below.
link in the show notes, and you can see all Paulina's information there on therapy and all that. I know you just work in Texas, but plenty of people follow us from
She's
Texas.
trying to
but
get your New York license, right?
I
There you go.
am
Okay.
at some, yes.
There you
Yes.
go. So thank you both
Thanks for having
being
us
on. It
was
on
a
here. We
pleasure.
really appreciate it. If people want to connect with you, what's the easiest way?
Yeah, thegoodlove.co on Instagram.
Okay.
DM us. We're always responding back on there.
Okay.
Yeah,
We love it.
connect
Love
us
it.
with us there.
Thank you for being part of the 24/7 Marriage family. We're grateful, thankful. Make sure that you like, subscribe, reach out to us.
Media.
Yeah, thank you, 23 Media. Send your questions into us. We always like to get those.
Yes, we love your questions.
And so always remember, in marriage, you don't have to.
Ready?
You
get
get
to.
Have an incredible week. We'll see you soon.